Good morning, mining mini truckers, and welcome to our channel.
Samson, the mighty sandbar.
And thanks for dropping in. Hope everybody's having a great day. Well, today, Samson's getting hitched. That's right. We're going to add a 2-inch receiver hitch to the front of Samson's bumper. The main reason I'm doing it is because I want to be able to attach a snowplow to the front of Samson, so when it does snow here in the mountains, I can go ahead and clear the driveway with it. The other reason I want it is because I do have a trailer and I do have a camper and I do have a boat. So I have to, maneuver those occasionally, get them out of the way in case I need to do something. So that's the other reason. Well, now that we've gotten that out of the way, if you've got that favorite cup of coffee, grab it, sit back and relax, buckle up, and let's go. Okay, I've gone ahead and brought Samson back into the garage, get me closer to my tools. But anyway, there's a couple things we need to take a look at. Before you can mount the hitch, there's an area below on the bumper, I'll show you here in a minute, that we're going to have to trim away, because if you don't trim that, it just won't work. You have to trim it out to get out of the way in order to slide that receiver up underneath, or get that mounting plate up underneath there. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at a couple other things before we get started. That way you can see what's going on underneath. As we take a look at the bumper, what you're going to see is right down here, see if I can get a little bit closer to it, there's a little bit of a lip here, okay? We're going to have to remove some of that in order to get that up underneath. Let me see if I can get up under some more here. But as you can see, right up underneath there, there's your frame, okay? It's a tubular frame there. And then you've got this one bolt that's actually holding right here. That's actually holding the front of the bumper in. I'm not sure. I might have to remove that in order to get that mounting plate flush, but we'll see how that goes here in a little bit. To the rear here, you've got another bolt that's holding actually a tubular frame around this middle cover, okay? And I don't know if you can see it or not, but no, you can't. But behind that metal cover are some little tiny hoses and some other hoses that you want to be very careful of when you go to install the U-bolts. You want to make sure you get those in the right places, because if you don't, you might mess those up, and you really don't want to mess with those. I could take this whole assembly off, but I'm going to try to do without, just because that's a lot of extra labor that's going to be needed in order to do that. Now, the other thing I'm probably going to have to do is right here. Yeah, right here at the lip. I'm probably going to have to either notch that out or drill it out in order for the U-bolt to go through, that threaded U-bolt to go through, so we can attach it. And we'll have to do that on both sides. Okay, now that we've gone over those two items, I'm going to go ahead and cut out that bumper lip down here. Now, if you look at the grill, that center vertical pier there, I don't know if it's right there, is actually dead center to the vehicle. I've gone ahead and measured it out. And what I did was I just took a straight edge and followed it down and went ahead and marked that center line. Now, the base on this one is like 6 3/4, so I went ahead and made it 7 inches, just to give me a little bit of room to play with on either side. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut that out with a Dremel tool with a cut-off wheel, and just take that out. Just go up those lines, and then at the top you just follow straight across there, and that should notch it out. I'll show you that when I get finished. As you can see, went ahead and took the Dremel tool with the cut-off wheel and went ahead and cut that notch out in order for the receiver to slide in there and make contact with the frame. Earlier, I stated that I wasn't going to remove the bracket and that covering up from underneath, but I just realized after looking at everything, there's only 7 bolts that hold in place, and it'd be better just to go ahead and remove it so I can see all the lines underneath. Give me a couple seconds here and we'll get up under and we'll take a look at everything. Now that the notch has been cut out of the bumper, I can go ahead and as you can see, I've slipped the receiver in there. And what I've done is I've taken my floor jack to kind of hold it in place because I want to go ahead and get it positioned. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a white crayon and just mark everything to where once I pull it out, I can go ahead and mark it and get the holes lined up for the U-bolts. Now, as you can see with that cover off, you can see the lines up here. It makes it a lot easier to get those U-bolts in and not damage those lines up because you definitely won't want to damage those up. Now, the other thing that I did is I went ahead and put the bracket back on. Just hand tighten the bolts on just to hold them in place because you want to leave a little bit of room back behind the receiver and in the bracket. There's actually a nut up there that holds that in place, but that way you clear it and you'll have a little bit more room to maneuver it. Now, the one nice thing about this receiver is there's a hole in the back already. I don't know if you can see it back there. So I've gone ahead and put the U-bolt around there, just kind of line it up with that hole. And then I've taken the white crayon and marked around those, around these threads around the U-bolt. Just kind of giving me an idea where I need to drill because we're going to have to drill a front hole. They have another hole here up front where you can probably use a 2.5 and switch it around, but the problem is you won't be able to clear the bumper up here. The bumper's in the way, so it just makes it tough to get it in there. So I'm going to go ahead and have to drill that. And as you can see, there's 2 plates of 8-inch, making it 1/4 inch. So that's going to be kind of a tough thing to drill, but we'll get that on the drill press and get that drilled through, get the 2 holes because you've got to do it on both sides. I already have the receiver mounted on top of the drill press plate, and I've gone ahead and marked everything, and I've actually center punched to where I want to drill the hole. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and start off with a 5/16 inch drill bit, and then bump it up to 1/2 inch, just to remove a little bit of material first, and then go the rest of the way with a 1/2 inch. That way, that 1/2 inch hole will give me enough room to play with up underneath, and we'll be able to get the receiver a little bit more lined up, get it moved around to where we want it. Well, that wasn't too hard. Now we've got the holes drilled out, let's go ahead and get this receiver mounted onto Samson. Next, I went ahead and mounted the receiver up to the frame. Of course, it looks a little bit loose now, but I had it just pretty much hand tightened up there. And next what I did was, previously what I did was I hand tightened this crossbar, this cross member up, just so I knew about where the clearance would be on the back end of the receiver. I went ahead and removed that. And then what I did was I took this cowling here, this protective cowling underneath, and slipped it back in and got the holes lined up. And I marked off where the U-bolts hit the actual frame. Because what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to notch out 2 areas on either side to make clearance for this cowling to fit back in place. You can see I've done that. All I did was take a pair of 10 snips and cut those back. Of course, once you do that, there's a couple areas you'll probably have to bend back into place. So just did that with a pair of pliers. But now that that's ready, we can go ahead and mount all this back underneath. Now, I'm going to go ahead and loosen up the receiver enough to where I can swing it around, because this center hole right here, that actually holds the cowling in place, and there's a bolt that goes through there. We need to make sure that's bolted up, and I'm just going to swing. I want to leave the receiver and the U-bolts hung up, because otherwise it'll be difficult to get this cowling back on. But we want to go ahead and make sure that's lined up and get that bolt back on. Hopefully y'all can see this, but we've got the cowling back on, and we've got that frame back on, and we still have the receiver kind of loose. Like I said, I did that, so I was able to get in there and get that center bolt in. So anyway, we're ready to go ahead and bolt this up. As you can see, we got enough clearance there, and with those holes up there, we've got enough clearance for the U-bolts to slide back and forth to give us a little bit of adjustment if we need it. There's a receiver already mounted. It's on good and tight. And you see I've already put the tongue in. Let me step back here in a couple of seconds and show you just how tight it is and how it doesn't budge one bit. As you can see, we got it mounted on there. It is good and tight. It's not coming off. It's not moving. It's not budging. The only thing is that it sits a little bit low. So if you're going down into a low place, it's going to scrape. So definitely pull that tongue out. And you still might even scrape even with just the receiver on there. Yep, about time to put the 2-inch lift on it and put some bigger tires on it, get it off the ground a little bit. So that's in the future. That's coming up. Well, that concludes today's upgrade on Samson. Got the hitch receiver mounted. Like I said, it's not moving. It's not budging. Now I can use Samson if I need to move things around as far as my trailer, my boat, or my camper. I can move it around, not have to worry about using my big vehicle. So, and of course, main thing is I want to put on the front for snowplow. Our place up in the mountains does get a little bit of snow, so this way I'll be able to scrape the driveway and clean the driveway off, not have to sit there and shovel it. Folks, if you've got a snowplow that you're already attaching to the front of your K-truck, if you don't mind, leave a comment in the comment section below and just let me know what brand and what type of snowplow you're using. I'm kind of looking at possibly using a UTV plow. But anyway, that would help me out tremendously. Hey, the more the merrier. Put as many comments in there as you want to. Folks, if there's anything you'd like to see me do here on the channel, if there's something that you want to talk about, hey, just leave a comment in the comment section below. Help us grow this channel. You know, Samson and I need to grow this channel. You know, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you like the video or like our content, go ahead and smash that like button. And of course, if you don't want to miss out on any of our new content, don't forget to ring that notification bell. Like we say here on the channel, folks, get outside, just like on a beautiful day like today. Enjoy the great outdoors. Happy trails. Ciao.